actually felt like a sort of normal week in politics for the first time in ages, hasn't it? Rather than being focused on a scandal or yet another leadership election. We heard from the top dogs in both main parties setting out their pitch for your vote. So, what did we learn about PM Sunak and sleeves rolled up, ready for action Starmer? Firstly, like the robots Sunak gets so excited about, he fails to connect on a human level. When he delivers a speech, I find myself looking over my shoulder, wondering who he's actually talking to. Even to those rooting for the Conservatives, he feels oddly like a guest who turns up for lunch but doesn't take their coat off, as though he's got one foot out of the door already. He gave us his 5 ambitions to halve inflation, stop the boats, grow the economy, blah-de-blah, usual platitudes. But he said, they are not the limit of my ambitions for our country. They're the foundation. So if you really listened, there was that I know what's good for you and change is coming tone that we were primed for in the pandemic.
My aim is to build a better future for our children and grandchildren. A future where they feel optimism, hope and pride. And to realise that vision, we need to change our mindset. Now, politicians talk a lot about change, but the truth is, no government, no Prime Minister can change a country by force of will or diktat alone. Real change isn't provided, it's created. It's not given, it's demanded, not granted, but invented. The choices we make as individuals, as workers, business owners, parents, all add up to something far greater. And if we're honest, change also requires sacrifice and hard work. It's a big risk for a politician to say that, but the stakes are too high and the rewards too great not to level with you. So change is hard. It takes time, but it is possible. And we know that because we've done it before. During COVID, we protected millions of people's jobs and businesses, a record I'm proud of. And we know it's possible because you can see change happening. You can feel it.
I can feel it too, and it feels a little like we're teetering on the edge of financial disaster. With record inflation, a crashing NHS, people unable to afford their mortgages, hospitality doomed, and the 2022 trend of 50 shops per week closing for good showing no signs of abating. I dearly want him to prove me wrong. I don't want to believe that Sunak is a parachuted-in technocrat charged by global puppeteers to bring in a digital central bank and biometric ID surveillance system to enslave us to the state and big business to go about our daily lives. So what do we need? Prime Minister, show us the way.
And to do that, we need to have the imagination and confidence to do things differently and better. The vision to do today what is needed for tomorrow. In other words, we need to change the way our country works. That requires a change in mindset. What does that mean in practice? It means a more innovative economy, stronger communities and safer streets, a world-class education system, an NHS built around patients, and a society that truly values the family.
I don't think a government has any business meddling in my mindset. Thank you very much. And the family? Is that the same families who've never recovered from his government's repeated instructions to stop seeing each other for over 2 years, even when the data was at best ambiguous? The children who were part of the 27% increase in abuse because families were locked in homes where social services and teachers couldn't get to them, those families? He goes on to say something about not all families being the traditional type, which should sound open-minded. But instead, it smacks a little sinister, as though it's OK for teachers or civil servants to do the job of the parent once your back is turned. Oh, and he said that everybody should be forced to study maths until they're 18, which inspired actor Simon Pegg to launch a furious social media attack on Sunak's vision for a drone army of data entering robots. And what of Sir Keir Starmer? Well, it's easy to sound tough and clever in opposition, but in order to magnify the I mean business attitude, he rolled up his sleeves in front of what could have been an orange digger, but was in fact the latest in robotics. Presumably, when you're just pushing a keyboard, you don't risk ripping your arm off with a stray cuff. So he fell at his first ingenious metaphor. It was a richer speak than Sunak's, no doubt, and it at least gave the impression that he has met the odd working class person. Starmer name-checked everyone, doctors, nurses, the late Queen, the Lionesses, even the video game visionaries in Dundee, whoever they are. And his big policy idea, other than the creation of a state-owned and presumably astronomically expensive GB energy company, was to devolve power to local authorities. Here he is.
Giving communities the chance to control their economic destiny. The argument is devastatingly simple. The decisions which create wealth in our communities should be taken by local people with skin in the game.
It sounds largely sensible, right? What works in Brixton may not work in Bury. But if you've ever met any pink-haired local busybodies, the type who are behind Oxford's plans to let you drive your car 100 days a year, the idea of putting more power in the hands of these megalomaniacs might make your blood run cold. Who will decide what? Who will be in charge? And who will pay for it? There are so many questions. And his big reveal, the Take Back Control Bill, it sounds very appealing and a bit Brexity. But then remember what control meant to Starmer in the pandemic. He wanted faster, tougher, longer lockdowns, more schools closed, more vaccine mandates, and a nanny state built on a be kind culture, the sort of kindness that screams at kids for not wearing a mask in the classroom. And he rolled out the tired old trope, people know the Labour Party cares, as though only the left have a monopoly on compassion, even though it is they who are currently working hard to erase the word woman from the dictionary. 2023 is going to be a strange political year. We're still suffering the mother of all hangovers from the lockdown money printing strategy, and I, for one, am still no clearer on who to trust. Are you?